opportunities about breakfast.
Well, hello everybody. We're ready to get started again, if everyone can have their seats. I'm really excited about this panel because for those that attended this event, we started at a Rochester City School District to actually tour a breakfast in the classroom program and to be able to see it firsthand. But for those that are live streaming this event and for those that also attended that tour, we are really happy to be able to bring this panel to be able to discuss the intricacies involved with the breakfast program, why it's important, what they need to do for the implementation. This is really your opportunity to be able to get the nuts and bolts of it and to be really honest about how they did it and why they did it. So without further ado, I wanted to introduce the panelists that we have all the way over on the left. Your right-hand side, sorry, I'll flip around. On your right-hand side is Cynthia Stewart. She graduated from University of Maryland in Baltimore with a BSN in nursing in 1975. She has 40 years of experience as a registered nurse, and 14 of those years are as a school nurse. She's currently at the Greece Central School District at Wildbridge Elementary. Right next to Cindy is Delia Canini. He is the lead director of school food service for Rochester Central School District. He was a general manager for Aramark for 2 years, 1 year as a district manager with Chartwells, and now officially an employee of Rochester Central School District. Prior to his time at Rochester Central School District, he was with the Houston School District for 6 years as a director of operations. And right next to me right here is Pamela Rutland. She has 28 years of professional career, has spanned that of the classroom teacher, assistant principal, and supervisor of administrative services, elementary principal, and secondary principal. She holds a BS in mathematics with an emphasis in computer science, an MS in secondary mathematics, and an SEA and CAS in educational administration. Mathematics, that's impressive. She's worked in several large school districts, including Buffalo, Albany, and now Rochester. She's really a wealth of knowledge. Thank you all for coming and participating in this panel discussion. It's really important to be able to showcase the application of what we are talking about today, and we are certainly going to do that in this panel discussion. So to start off, I just want everybody to introduce themselves, tell us where you work, including your role, and briefly describe the work that you do there. And we'll start with Cindy and we'll proceed down the table.
All right, good afternoon everybody. I'm the school nurse at Westridge Elementary in Greece, and as you've heard, I've been a nurse for 40 years with most of my experience in maternal, child, pediatrics, and community health and public health. And I have been a school nurse now for 14 years. I have a military background. Myself, I was former active duty and a U.S. Army Reserve nurse for 32 years. And I bring that up because I came here from Fort Drum, and I worked in community health and preventive medicine. And there, as working with military families, as part of your job, you had to have a weigh-in every 6 months as a soldier, and you had to pass a physical training test. So the neighbors in my office as a community health nurse were the dietitian and the fitness coordinator. So hence my love of nutrition and exercise and physical fitness as a part of nursing, because I lived it there for the 32 years. And when we had a soldier with a problem, we would bring the family in, and again, the spouse or who was doing the cooking, and that would filter down through the families, and just developed a true love for the importance of nutrition and exercise when it came to good health and nursing care. So carried that into my school experience. I'm starting my 4th year at Westridge, my 8th year in Greece, and I always say I have the best job in the world because it starts off in the morning. I get more hugs than anybody. And every day is different, and it's really a fun job. So I work with the pre-K through grade 5. We have 400 students, and we are probably in the area of Greece where we have the most free and reduced lunches. We're located right next to a large subsidized housing area, and from that housing area we get 60 to 70% of our students. And I just wanted to describe that housing area a little bit. It's basically a transient population, so we have a lot of coming and going. We have a homeless population at our school, a lot of single-parent households, multiple families living together with multiple psychosocial issues, a higher than average number of uninsured families, and I've noticed that sometimes I'm the only health contact they have. Our nurse practitioner will do the physical, and they're just not involved with any other health care resources. High rate of unemployment, higher than normal rate of incarceration. We have a high number of minorities there, and drug and alcohol problems. So we have a challenge, great group of families and kids, but a lot of challenges ahead of us, and really wonderful families and people. We did a summer feeding program in Greece this year. We had free breakfast and free lunch during the summer, and they chose our school because, again, of location and proximity to that subsidized housing. She wanted to say what I do every day. Pretty much typical school nurse duties. There's the major and the minor illnesses. There's major and minor injuries. But what I've noticed is that higher the number, emotional issues, social issues, maybe anxiety. I probably see 1 to 10 kids a week standing at the door when I go in. And I'll say, school's just started, you know, are you here already? And sometimes I think they've just come from a situation in the home where something emotional has gone on and they just need to stop, take 5 or 10 minutes, maybe talk to somebody, and they will have that complaint of a headache or a stomach ache. And so usually with just some good positive input and a little bit of rest and a glass of water always helps. I'll find out what they ate for breakfast, and we'll look at that first and go on from there. We do have the breakfast in the classroom program, pretty much like the tour we went on today, and I'll talk about that a little bit more. I guess that's all I'm going to say at this point.
Thanks, Cindy. Delia, would you mind talking a little bit about what you do, the district you work in, and your role as lead director of food service?
Good afternoon. It's great to be here this afternoon as the lead director for the City School District. I have the fortunate pleasure of working with a great bunch of people. We have over 200 employees and several managements also. My role is to work with them to find ways to feed as many kids as possible, to also find ways of delivering food, breakfast specifically, to our kids to make it easier for them to consume breakfast so they can have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Delia. And Pamela, could you do the same, please?
Good afternoon. If you were able to make the tour, you actually visited my school this morning, so thank you for coming in and sharing your time with my students and faculty. I'm the principal, the proud principal of Clara Barton School Number 2. I think probably the best way to describe what I do is whatever it takes. The idea behind breakfast in the classroom, at least in our building, sort of goes along with our district's philosophy. Every child in our district gets a free lunch and a free breakfast. It sort of takes away the stigma attached to the social and economic status of the family or any needs. For us in my school, the idea behind breakfast in the classroom allows our kids to build very positive relationships with their teachers in a very non-threatening way that's not during their academic time. It allows us to have our kids come in, sit down, and not be in a room with 300 or 400 students trying to cram down breakfast really quickly, or if they're coming in late, not get breakfast at all. I think our parents love the idea that if their child comes to school, that every kid's going to get, you know, a free breakfast, a free lunch that's balanced, that's going to be delivered in a way that allows them to eat and share, and there's no differences. So I think that's why it works in my school.
Thanks so much, Pamela. You have a beautiful school, by the way. We really enjoyed the tour and all of your students as well. So the next question I'm going to ask Cindy is, tell us what children are eating, what children report that they're eating before school. Can you talk a little bit about that? I know you have those conversations with some of those kids that come in.
I was the nurse during the summertime when we did the summer feeding program. So it was the first time we did it, and so I tended to show up and ask a lot of questions. We started from just a few families coming to many families coming, so I think in the end we had some success. So I've continued that on the school year, just trying to stop in and watch, maybe model a little bit of behavior as far as praising the work of the food service people and what a good job they have and all the good choices that are there that are available to the kids. And I know we have about 400 students. We have 60 to 70% that qualify for the free reduced lunches. And the food service people tell me anywhere from like 250 plus, usually 250 to 300 take advantage of this. And again, I don't know the reasons why our numbers seem to be a little bit low. So I asked the kids, what do you eat? What do you like to eat? Do you eat at home? Do you eat here? Why? And some of the answers that I get are, what do you eat for breakfast? Especially those that maybe did not eat at school. And I'll say, did you eat at home? And they may say no, and I'll say why, and they said, well, we had nothing to eat at home. I do get that answer. We just don't have a lot of food in the refrigerator. So not uncommon. No food in the house is an answer. Mom had to take the bus or go to work early, and maybe they were in charge of preparing breakfast or getting food, or a sibling was. Just didn't have time, busy. Some of our kids have a long bus commute. And other than that, some of the main answers I got, they grabbed something sweet, like maybe a breakfast pastry of some sort. Saw a little girl yesterday passing out birthday pencils, and she was eating candy, and I know it was Halloween, but she brought her candy for breakfast. So cookies, donuts, I get a fair amount of that response, and then probably behind that cereal, bagels, toast, most common. And so when they come to school, we have 3 choices, and the choices are balanced. They're from the guidelines. They get a choice. We do have a kitchen, and we can make hot food. So one of the choices is hot oatmeal with like raisins or fruit. They get whole grain toast. They can have yogurt and toast, milk and juice, different fruits, and I watch and say, what are you going to pick and why? And they really seem to like the cereal. They like the yogurt, is very popular. They like the fruit, and they don't always make the good choices, but they're encouraged to, at least if they don't know they want that or they can't decide to try it, they don't have to eat it. And I have seen some improvement over the months that I've gone and watched them.
That makes this dietitian very happy. Thank you, Cindy. Delia, can you speak a little bit about your experience with alternative breakfast service? I know you have a wealth of experience not only in Houston but here in Rochester.
That is correct. Breakfast in the classroom, to me, has been a long time coming. It's been something that I truly believe in. Because again, it enables us the avenue to feed a lot of our students, just like Ms. Stewart said, those who need it most. Again, not all of our kids have the opportunity to eat at home. Breakfast in the classroom, taking it to them, enables them the opportunity to eat. Not only to eat breakfast, but to eat with a grown-up, with the teachers. That is amazing. So breakfast is an alternative means of delivering food to our students. Breakfast in the classroom, prior to today, at number 2, the school we went to today, one of the teachers said, a 2nd grade teacher, I said, how is breakfast going? Wonderful. The kids know what to do. They know what, how, and when to do each step of implementing that program. I said, why is that? Oh, they've been doing it since they were since they were little, pre-K, K. Isn't that amazing? Knowing from the beginning what to do, the importance of eating breakfast in the classroom. That is the end result of this program or doing this seminar, to teach the little ones now, so when they get older, they know I've got to eat breakfast every morning. Without it, I cannot function properly. I cannot be successful academically, even on the job. So that is why breakfast in the classroom is very, very important to me, and I make sure I do whatever it takes to make it happen for our students.
Thanks, Delia. I appreciate that. Pamela, can you discuss a little bit about your experience with alternative breakfast service and any challenges or obstacles that you faced in implementing it, if you were part of the implementation?
Well, I think one of the challenges that any school will face is every school seems to have its own climate and culture. So setting the expectation around what that breakfast will do for kids and looking at some of the residual benefits that aren't often highlighted, and I've just got a couple here. These include better attendance, better behavior, and higher standardized test scores. There are several advantages to eating breakfast in the class. Students are in their seats and ready to learn as soon as the bell rings. It reduces tardiness and discipline issues, provides an opportunity for teachers to develop relationships, and all students are served breakfast at no cost. This is regardless of the family's income. It increases the percentage of students who will eat breakfast overall and leads to social benefits. Relationships are developed when people have food together. And many teachers say that building these relationships at the beginning of the day with their students, they can have conversations and find out before they get into the academic part of their day, whether the kid's had a bad night, is in a bad mood, needs to see the psychologist, the school nurse, a social worker. So it allows us to really spend some time with kids on a basis that allows them to start their day well.
More of an intimate basis that you
Absolutely.
have a family experience, so to say, in a community setting, which is really impactful.
Correct.
Delia, can you talk a little bit about the challenges or obstacles that you face in the implementation of alternative breakfast service and how you overcame it?
Well, see, I have a fortunate opportunity to work with great administrators, principals. Two of them are in here today, Ms. Rutland and Mr. Smith, also with do BIC at his school also. Incredible people, leaders at their campuses. Most of the obstacles will come from the teachers. The principals are on board. They want the best for the students. Some of the teachers do also, but some, they do not. And for valid reasons, we all know they've got to get paid, and what is in there for me? If there is no benefit to them, why should I do it? That is the thought process. So what we do is, if you participate in the program, the teacher is going to eat breakfast for free also. So that is in there for you. We're going to give you free breakfast for participating. The challenges, some of them comes with rodents in the classrooms, a whole bunch of host of issues like that. But the solution is the kids eat, wipes the table, dump the trash in the trash containers, done with. When we start keeping food in the classrooms, that's when we have those issues. You see, when we have the opportunity to address those issues, it makes it easier for us to speak to them. But sometimes we do not have that chance. I mean, we just don't want to do it because of this or that. But if we have a relevant issue, we can address them, something that is concrete. Again, support system, flexibility. There is no cookie cutter. It's this way or no way at all. No, we have to be flexible. We have to design the program to fit each location because we have different dynamics. We have different configurations from each school to the other. You have to do whatever it takes to work with the schools to ensure we deliver breakfast in any form or shape to our students. And the beauty of making anything or doing anything is to have the support system. We have the American Dairy Council there to support us. They take the biggest of the obstacle out of the way for us. They provide us with the equipment, with the training, with the support, they have the know-how. We just need to call them, lean upon them, and they deliver. That's how we happen to make it work in our district.
We did not ask for that plug, just as an FYI. But we appreciate it. And we are here to support the schools because we know how powerful it is to have a breakfast after the bell program in the schools and how important it is for kids in general. In talking about that, Cindy, can you briefly discuss the importance of breakfast for children and including the importance of a breakfast after the bell program from your health point of view?
Again, we are Westridge Elementary, and we're the Westridge Whales. And a common goal, principals, administrators, teachers, myself, are we want the students ready to learn, coming in ready to learn. So what fits in better than coming in, having a nice, calm, nutritious breakfast and getting ready to learn. In our hallways, you walk in, there's the word perseverance. And for a young group, that's a big word, but we want the kids to persevere. And we have after that, it means stay strong, work hard, never give up. And we fit nutrition, breakfast, exercise into getting them the right amount of sleep, taking good care of yourself, being good to others is all part of our goal. When I was in the school this morning, I caught some of the announcements as I was going through, and we start off each day, and I think they do also. I will be respectful, I will be responsible, I will be safe. Today I'm ready to learn, and we fit our good breakfast under the safe and responsible. And the children come in. We have 2 hallways in our school, and they come right in the door. We have a teaching assistant pass out a card with their name, so it takes a second. It's alphabetized. They pick up their card and go through the line in one hallway, and then the other hallway has a cart, so a little bit different than they do it. Within a minute, they have their breakfast. They're in school, in their classroom, sitting down, and we have morning announcements, and the teacher will reiterate what's going to go on during the day and maybe collect papers and a few announcements. And by then, the children are done. They've picked up their tray and put it in the trash can. So it goes very, very smoothly. We believe, as the research shows, that if children are eating breakfast, they are ready to learn, they have growing minds and bodies, they need the nutrition to excel and to be successful in school. Teachers tell me, I don't have the numbers of the research at our school, but they tell me they're more attentive. I do the attendance. I'm on the attendance committee, and the 4 years I've been there, we're making progress. And the other thing we do at our school, which I think is the most important, is our family and community interaction, because we can only do so much, and unless we get the families on board, pair up with the families, get them involved in everything we're doing, things just don't work or work as well as they should. So that's a big goal of ours as far as attendance, and we're seeing better attendance, definitely less tardy. And last year, we had the most discipline referrals. We have 11 elementary schools in Greece. We had the most, and we had double the other schools. So already this year, we're going down, and we've perfected our breakfast program tremendously. So definitely is working better. From the health status standpoint, the health status of the kids, what I see with breakfast, what's working, I do not see the children coming in and saying they're hungry and they didn't eat, and they have the headache and stomach ache. I'm seeing a little bit less. One of the bigger problems I'm seeing, though, kids want to come in and they want to sleep. And I don't think it's related to food. I think it is the computer and the mobile devices, though, on that end. And it gives me an opportunity now when I do a lot of assessment for what are the kids eating, and did you get to breakfast, and what did you have, and what do you like. Gives me a chance to be positive again, and be positive, be strong, and do some health education. And in the health office, I always have available milk, juice, yogurt, crackers, and a couple of pieces of fruit. So we never let a child go hungry. If they are tardy or they came in late due to some sort of an appointment, they can either go down and get cereal, fruit, or they can come and see me, and we never say we don't have anything available for breakfast.
Thank you for doing that. That's pretty impactful in itself, and we appreciate that. So the last question we really wanted to address is, what improvements have all of you seen in the behavior or performance of children who participate in the school breakfast program? We've dabbled with this a little bit in some of the previous questions, but if you can be specific, I would appreciate it.
I think the most common and the most prevalent one that I've seen is just in that relationship building. A lot of times, right now, our K and 1 students also eat lunch in their classrooms. The other students actually come down to the cafeteria. But for most of our students, it's a reward if they can have lunch with their teacher. So I think building that positive rapport and getting to know students on a personal basis, it helps you build some background knowledge in terms of what their needs are, and that allows you to get to the academics a lot faster. It also allows you to build that respect and rapport that sometimes, depending on cultural differences, might lead to an over-referral to the office for different things. A child won't learn from a teacher they don't like or respect. And I think that's a critical component for our families. Even when they bring their children in late, they'll say, can they get breakfast? And, very much like she said, we never tell a child they can't have breakfast. We'll find something. They'll go down to the cafeteria, they'll go to the classroom, but there's always fruit, yogurt, a stick of cheese, something for them. And I think that just allows them to start their day knowing that their bellies are full. For us, I think the biggest piece has been the idea that our district was able to give every child a free breakfast and a free lunch.
The community eligibility provision
right.
is what you're speaking of?
Yeah. I think in a lot of schools, and I've been in several districts, there is that stigma attached to being the child that's eligible, and that the opportunity for every child to have it eliminates that. So I think probably 50% of the kids who are eligible would not take a part of it if they couldn't, if every child wasn't getting it. So it just allows them to all be on equal footing and to start their day with a balanced breakfast. And sometimes I have to confiscate the candy and hold it till after school and send it back home because we are a healthy choice school. So our kids actually get a snack around 2 o'clock in the afternoon that is co-sponsored by Wegmans. So in addition to their breakfast and their lunch, they get like a snack in the afternoon that's usually a piece of fruit or a vegetable or something. They're learning to enjoy broccoli without the ranch dip. It doesn't come with it.
That's great. Delia, can you speak on that a little bit?
Well,
what
everything
improvements
she
you've
said,
seen?
it's true. Again, hearing from people actually experiencing the kids benefiting from doing the program, that is incredible. The only thing I've got to add is it's getting hold in the district. The program is expanding. People are beginning to see the benefit of doing breakfast in the classroom. So we are growing the program, we're expanding the program. Our goal now is to move it to the high school level, and which is on the way. We're on our way to making that happen. So everything they've said is true. We just want to continue to grow the program.
Cindy, do you have anything else to add?
Probably the only thing to add. Everything they've said is true. Many improvements. I'm going to just expand it a little bit to lunch, something that hasn't come up. Going and watching them at lunch, we have a nice display. I really want to say what a good job our food service people do. We have our main courses, and then very nicely the colors, the presentation, we'll give 2 or 3 vegetable choices. There's a homemade soup such as a broccoli, a tomato, a minestrone, and kind of at the end we'll have our apples and maybe our strawberries, some of our sweeter fruits. And so we just have a lot of choices the kids haven't tried yet. And again, I see the improvement where somebody will go ahead and try something, maybe try it a second or third time, and at least take a couple of bites. And I think they're making a real effort to get kids that have never been exposed to many good fruits and vegetables, maybe due to cost or just unavailability at home, or somebody modeling good food choices. I see the kids ask questions, learning interested, and I think we're making a lot of progress in that area.
Thanks. I'm going to open it up for questions with the people not only who are live streaming but also in the room. But prior to doing that, I just want to ask each of you guys words of wisdom. If you were to provide some words of wisdom for a new school district who is thinking about implementing this program or thinking about enhancing their breakfast program, what would it be?
Get your teachers on board.
Okay.
Bring them to the decision table as well, because that's going to make or break the program. They've got to be the ones in the classrooms every day with the kids that are eating the breakfast. So have them at the table in a meaningful way where the decisions are made and not after the fact.
Thanks, Pamela.
A
Delia?
couple of things in addition to that, involving all the stakeholders, the custodians, some of the parents, everybody that is going to be involved in making it successful. And lastly, flexibility. Be flexible with the program.
Get everybody on board, everybody helps and does a little piece to it. It's a win-win. There's just no extra time or energy really invested in it, and the rewards really are there, and they're more than worth it to take that little bit of time. And the kids absolutely love it, and it's the social part of eating together, and you just see in all aspects of their behavior that if they start with that good breakfast, it's just a better day, and they are ready to learn.
Great. Do we have any questions in the crowd that want to ask the panelists? Okay. So up next, thank you guys so much for being a part of this discussion. And I personally just want to say thank you to all that you do for the students that you work with. You guys are really a powerful bunch of people in our community, so thank you. So up next is the students' perspective on this. We've seen the tour, we've talked to the health professionals, and we know the benefits of a program like this, but we really want to hear from the students' perspective on what their thoughts are on the breakfast program and the Fuel Up to Play 60 program. So I'm going to get Christina Dieter back up here, and she's going to facilitate the conversation with our student panelists. And thank you guys so much for being here.
Okay, can I just say how awesome of a panel that was? Thank you so much for being here. That was absolutely great. And I just wanted to say something. I've heard it over and over again today. Kids do not go hungry at their schools, and that's something I keep resonating. So I try to think of reasons why, I play the devil's advocate, why it wouldn't work at your school, but that's something I feel like we should always keep in the back of our minds. Do we want a kid to go hungry today, or can we do something about it? So, without further ado, this is my favorite part of these conferences and meetings that we have, because all day today we've heard about how important the kids are. You heard about it when we were talking about Fuel Up to Play 60. You heard about it from Deli. Why are we here? We're feeding kids. So I'd love to introduce to you today Edwin Washington. He is from Rochester City School District, school number 43. He's a 6th grader. We also have Troy Palazzolo. He is from Rush Henrietta School District. He's in 8th grade from Roth Middle School. So I think I'm going to start with Troy. I just have a few questions for him. As you can see, he's wearing the Fuel Up to Play 60 t-shirt, and Roth Middle School has actually been a big part of Fuel Up to Play 60 since I started about 4 years ago. So Troy, if you could just tell me, how did you first get involved with Fuel Up to Play 60?
I first got involved with Fuel Up to Play 60. I had a couple of older friends who were in the program, and I really admired them. They were really good people. They were really nice and funny, and they were part of the program, so I was very interested in it, and I wanted to check it out. So I asked them about it, and they said it was a great program, and it's really beneficial to yourself because it makes you more physically active, and it makes you eat healthier and a lot of other positive aspects, and so I decided to join the team.
That's great. I'm just going to go back to one thing you said. So you said you first saw people a little bit older than you getting involved in Fuel to Play 60. So I was talking earlier about student leaders and how it may perpetuate. So now you're in 8th grade. Now you're one of those student leaders who the younger kids are probably looking up to you. So that's awesome. Try to keep it going at your school. So specifically, what are some activities that you would consider Fuel Up to Play 60 activities? So either healthy eating or physical activity.
Yeah, so at the beginning of the school year, we held a meeting, and we kind of put together certain activities that students would get involved in, and they were all like physical activities. Like we had tournaments for basketball, volleyball, and kickball. So we kind of spread out all those activities across the school year. So we're going to be holding those activities like in each quarter of the school year, and we have like sign-ups for that. So all students that would like to participate in that can just sign up and take part in it.
Okay, so that's cool. That's one thing you said was, so you're technically part of the Fuel to Play 60 club, right? But it's not open to just your little group. You're really trying to make a difference in your whole entire school by inviting everybody else to get involved too. So that's another thing about creating student leaders. They're the ones that are going to get everybody else on board, not just throughout every year, but even that school year or that quarter, by getting them involved in whatever activity it is that year. So you've already touched upon this a little bit, but how has it improved the overall wellness and attitude at your school?
Well, at our school, I'd say it's definitely impacted all of our students. We've like put up posters on the walls and everything, telling students to like join Fuel Up and like be a part of the team and stuff. So ever since we started like trying to get kids to join and be healthier and live a better lifestyle, I think that kids have definitely taken part of that and gotten healthier and gotten more physically active and just been a overall better person. Okay, so you've helped improve the wellness at your entire school, but is there anything specific maybe to you that you feel your health has improved? Is there any, lasting improvements that you've seen since you started the program? Yeah, I'd say overall, ever since I've started Fuel Up to Play 60, I've definitely became a more healthier, a more active person. I've started many sports, take part in more school activities, and I've eaten healthier. And okay, great. Just a question about the future of Fuel Up to Play 60. Where do you see it advancing? Maybe this year. So you're going into high school next year. So where do you see this program evolving throughout the rest of the school year, maybe even into your high school? Well, for me, I think that hopefully I will continue to be part of Fuel Up to Play 60, and hopefully other students will join the team and the program will get larger and more kids will start living a better, healthier lifestyle. Okay. Great, Troy. Thank you. And we'll probably give him a round of applause. We'll come back to him afterwards if you guys have any questions for him specifically about Fuel Up to Play 60 too. But let's welcome Edwin. Like I said, he's from School 43. He's an 11th grade, or 11-year-old in 6th grade, I'm sorry. And I've heard that he is an avid scholar and a role model for other kids at your school as well. And you do participate in one other program that we've talked about today, and that is the breakfast program. So I just want to ask you, what do you like about breakfast in the classroom?
What I like about breakfast in the classroom is that I get to socialize with my friends about our schoolwork. And the teacher, he tells us what to do and go get the lunch for the table. And so that's it. Okay, so your teacher kind of walks you through maybe the school day while you're having your breakfast at your classroom? Yes. Tells you what to expect throughout the day, and then you just get started, right? Okay. And how does eating breakfast every day make you feel? it makes me feel good and alert because, like, when I go in the classroom, when my teacher asks me a question, I have to think about it a little bit and have it right in my head.
Yeah, so you're a little bit sharper, right?
Yeah.
Because eating breakfast. Oh, can you hear that? Testing. Okay. So it makes you a little bit more alert, you're fueled, you're ready to go, and maybe it'll take you a couple minutes to come up with the answer, but you'll come up with it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you play any sports?
Yes.
What sports do you play?
Football.
Football. And who's your favorite team?
Patriots.
The Patriots. Boo! He's not welcome here. Who brought him? No, I'm just kidding. Do you think that there's a connection between what you put into your body and how you perform on the football field?
Yes, I think that because if I eat fruits and vegetables, I'll be more physical on the field. And if I eat brownies all day,
Yeah. Maybe you'll feel energized for a second, and then you're tired again,
Yeah.
and you're not ready to practice.
I wouldn't be ready for football.
You won't intimidate anyone on the field, right? Okay. Just specifically about some other things that Edwin does, I heard that you lead your daily announcements.
Yeah.
Can you just tell me a little bit about what you do in the mornings?
I first come in the classroom, get ready, eat my breakfast, ask my teacher to go to the office, and then the staff, she gives us a tablet, and then the first day of school, she gave us this folder of the announcements and the calendar. So we get a pen and cross out the days and say the days what's today.
Okay.
So today, I said the announcements, and I said today's a B-day. Well, my friend, she says today is a B-day. So that's it.
Yeah.
That's just fun. That's what's fun about it.
So he is obviously a leader at the school. He's getting up there. He's got his agenda. He knows what he's supposed to say. What's that?
And I hope my sisters and brothers do it too.
What's that?
My sisters and brothers, I got one
good.
sister and a brother.
So they're doing it with you as well?
No, I want them to.
Okay, so maybe they're going to follow in your footsteps and be that same leader. And do they eat their breakfast every day?
Yes.
Good. Okay, so it is possible they can follow in his footsteps. So I just wanted to call out the fact that these two students are amazing. They're leaders in their field, which is their school, and hopefully that will continue throughout the year. So thank you so much for coming. Does anybody have any questions? Hopefully we do for these students.
I would just like to say when I was in 6th and 8th grade, there was no way I'd be able to get up there like you guys just did and talk to all of these adults.
Thanks.
So, well done.
Yeah,
you are you should be very proud of the leaders that you have become and very proud of everything you do.
Yeah, they're joining the ranks of becoming Fuel Up to Play 60 ambassadors, right? I showed you all a picture of our state ambassadors. Very proud of them. Hopefully you guys can even follow in their footsteps as well. Any other questions or comments?
Yes.
Dawn?
Troy, I'm going to pick on you a little bit. Troy, my question for you is, can you explain to the people in this room our activity that we're going to do called Farm to School for all students on November 19th?
So, Farm to School is basically a whole bunch of farmers and dairy people, dairy farmers, I don't know what to call them. They're going to come to our school, and they're going to bring apples and fruits and milk and Greek yogurt, and basically our students are just going to try these foods, and they're going to try Greek yogurt, which most kids have not tried that, and it's very healthy, so hopefully kids will like it.
Great. That's great. And I just want to point out as well, in the Fuel Up to Play 60 playbook, there is a play called Farm to School. So there's some ideas of how you can incorporate things that he just talked about, like taste testing, into your school as well. Any more questions? Comments? Well, if nobody else has a question, I just wanted to throw out a huge thank you to 3 individuals that are here today. I talked to you guys earlier about program advisors, and there are 3 here today. Mr. Smith, who is Edwin's principal, and then Mrs. Finewood and Mrs. Colleen McCarthy-White, and they're sitting right back there, and it wouldn't be possible for them to be a part of either of these programs if it wasn't for them. So let's give them a huge round of applause too. Thank you, guys.
And not to put you guys on the spots, do you have any final words on the Fuel Up to Play 60 program that you would like to convey to people that are currently not doing the program as far as why they should be doing the program?
I'm going to focus more on the breakfast in the classroom, which will then lead up to the Fuel Up to Play 60. As Ms. Rutland had said, and the nurse from Greece as well had said, is the strength and power of having breakfast in the classroom has curbed the atmosphere just in an immense positive way. From having to wait in line, remember, Edwin, we talked about this, having to wait in line 3 years ago with 300 or 400 other kids downstairs, pure chaos. Now it's nice that they're in the room building those relationships with students. And I think sometimes people that are outside of the education field don't realize how important a relationship is with a child for them to learn and to get to know the child inside and out. That's definitely important. And as I said, I think, you know, it's a lot of work at the beginning, but once the teachers buy into it and put their time into it, they can reap the benefits as well, besides just the students increasing their learning and becoming more physically fit. And we all know a healthy mind, healthy body provides for healthy and smart students.
With Fuel Up, I did it at my elementary school, and then 2 years ago I got switched to the middle school. I think Fuel Up is different in elementary schools to a certain degree compared to middle school. And one thing I see as an advantage for middle schoolers is the level of leadership that they're able to display to the other staff members and also to their peers is incredible. When we had the meeting at the beginning of the year that Troy was talking about, it was incredible how they sat down with a calendar and they're like, hey, we got to spread these activities out. Okay, do you think they'll come on a Monday morning at, you know, they have to take a transfer bus to the high school, which, you know, some kids would be getting on the bus at 7 o'clock in the morning when our school doesn't start till 8:30 normally. And we have 75 kids who will show up in the morning, probably because the opportunities provided. And for kids, it's not only about getting physically fit, but emotionally strong and building ties to other kids. Some kids, I think, increase their attendance at school because of these programs. And sometimes we don't know it until later on. For example, I have a student who I taught 25 years ago. Now he's my coworker, and I did a bowling program. I didn't realize it, but the reason why he never missed a Wednesday was because of bowling club. So sometimes we don't know the impact we have until many years later.
And I did just want to stress, and Christina, I know you'd back this up, that we started the program a few years ago. It does take time. You do have to try to make time for the program in terms of planning, but it just wouldn't be the same without a student team. And that did not happen the first year, but we did start it the second year. And just like Dawn was saying, it's made a world of difference, and they're very high energy and very gung-ho with thousands of ideas. So it's just a lot of fun to work with the students and see what their ideas are. Their latest idea, they said the other day, was when we were planning the farm to school, well, maybe we could then start putting suggestions into the cafeteria of what kind of foods we want. It's like, yep. So we'll get there too.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what Fuel Up to Play 60 is. We're trying to give students the voice and the outlet to actually make sustainable changes in their school. And some things that I've heard from other students at other schools is they actually, you know, take surveys to tell the food service director what items they like, what items they don't like, and what they want to see more or less, or what they want to try that's new. So they do their research too, and like Colleen and Dawn said back there, they just want an outlet to motivate themselves to push all their ideas through, and it's nice to have that adult connection to support the kids and support their ideas. Well, thank you guys.
Yeah, one more applause
You guys
for
were awesome.
Edwin and Troy. Thanks, guys. One more time, you guys really did a great job. And it's always remarkable to hear this information straight from the students' mouths. I really think it puts everything into perspective on why we should do what we do. Okay, So we are at the end of our conference. I hope everybody enjoyed all of the information that was provided to you today, everything that you saw and everything that we did. But now it's really time to take action. We would love for you to fill out this form that is in your red folders. It is all about breakfast in the classroom and what you are able to do for breakfast in the classroom. And those that are coming in via live stream, this does not exclude you because I sent this to you earlier yesterday. So you get to fill this out too and email me directly. So don't forget that, even though you're in that digital world. So thank you for that. And then, I just wanted to wrap up with a really big thank you for everyone that attended this event, not only here in person, but via live stream. We will distribute the PowerPoints, if okay with the presenters, to you in a follow-up email after the event here. You should be seeing that in your inbox. If you did not, if you weren't on the registration list, please put your name and email address on that registration list out front so you do get that information coming to you. We have a plethora of resources and materials out on that registration table for you to take. We also have leftover bags, so if anybody wants any more reusable grocery bags, just let me know. And those in the digital community too, live stream, I can send them to you. So if you really, really want one, just send me an email and I can do that. We did validate parking, so if you have your parking ticket, you can go right out front and validate that parking, so we will cover that expense for you. And just a real thank you for attending, and a thank you to our speakers as well. Just our information, my email and telephone number, and then all different ways that you can stay connected with American Dairy Association and Dairy Council, whether it's YouTube or Instagram or Facebook or Twitter. We are on all of those different platforms for you to be a part of there. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for a wonderful day today, and we appreciate you coming. Thanks.